Guys, we're finally getting a new Marvel fighting game, and I'm so excited. Listen, I love fighting games. Am I good at them? Well, no, but I do enjoy playing them, and that's really all that matters with video games at the end of the day, right? So, you guys probably know by now that I love to sit here and yap about potential rosters or characters to get added to games. And I love talking about Marvel, and I'm really excited for this game, so hey, I decided why not build my own roster. I am setting some parameters. First of all, how many characters are on the roster? Well, let's look at the most recent games the developer of this game, Arc System Works, have made. Their last game, Guilty Gear Strive, had 15 playable characters on the base roster and 28 after DLC. And I believe they're still pumping out more characters, so that number could change. Their game before that, Dragon Ball FighterZ, had 24 characters on its base roster, and after the DLC, it had 44 characters. They also participated in the creation of DNF Duel, so there's that. Alright, so I think for this game's base roster, we can lean more towards FighterZ base roster. My reasoning for this is that Tokon is quite similar to that game, at least in general concept. It's a tag fighter based around a popular IP developed by Arc System Works. So for the base roster, I'm going with 24 characters. However, I'll talk about DLC afterwards to bring the roster up to 44, just like FighterZ. I kind of doubt they'll actually match the roster number exactly, but I'm just going to talk about it anyways. We're just having fun here. I want to add that I'm not going to totally break down exactly how I'd want all of these characters to play. I'm just going to talk about them, maybe throw out a few gameplay ideas I think would be cool, and that's going to be it. The base roster is going to be 24 for the purpose of this video. So first, we have to remove the 8 slots that have already been filled at the time of me writing this. So that's Storm, Doctor Doom, Iron Man, Captain America, Miss Marvel, Ghost Rider, Star-Lord, and Spider-Man. With a roster like this, I kind of want to look at how Injustice does their roster of DC characters, and even how Marvel vs. Capcom does their rosters. They tend to fill out the roster with a bunch of the most popular characters, then throw in a few relatively popular characters or characters who are spiking in popularity at the time, and then throw in a few oddballs. So the 8 characters already on the roster are all pretty popular, but I'm going to throw in a few characters that I'm pretty confident are also going to make the cut. So first up here is Thor. I think Thor is a character with a really good chance of making it into the game. He's a very popular character, he's very well known by casual audiences, and I think that means he has a good chance to be included in this game. I think his kit would involve the use of his hammer a lot, as well as his lightning. I think he'd be a character who's a bit of an all-rounder, someone who's good at multiple ranges, but doesn't excel at anything necessarily. The Hulk is also a character who I think is a lock here. He's for sure one of the most popular Marvel characters, and he'd definitely be a typical grappler type character. Give him command grabs and all that usual grappler stuff. Next up, Black Panther. T'Challa would be a rushdown character, a character with a high skill floor but also a high skill ceiling. You want to get up in people's faces and mess them up. I also think that Doctor Strange is a lock for this game in 2025. Pretty popular character thanks to the MCU and Marvel rivals, so yeah, I've got Strange on my roster. I also think Captain Marvel deserves to be in this game. I know a lot of people don't like her, but I think that stems from the dislike from the actress and dislike for her in the movies and how she's used there. I promise that Captain Marvel can be cool. You just got to give her a chance. And in terms of being a fighting game character, I think she can definitely be cool. Plus, you got to get more women on the game. It can't just be all guys in the roster. So let's put some women heroes in here too. Next up, Wolverine. There is no shot Logan does not make this roster. He's probably a top 3 Marvel character in terms of popularity, so I think he'll definitely be in the game, at the very least as DLC. I definitely want him to play sort of feral and in your face, and he'd also have to probably have a lot of health or some kind of regeneration mechanic. I also think Magneto has a very good shot at getting into this game. Based off popularity, and with fighting games, he's pretty popular with MVC, so I think he'll be in. Venom is another popular character and fan favorite, so I think he'll definitely make it in. And I also think Wanda has a very good shot in making her way into the game based off her casual fan base alone. Last up for super popular characters, I think Deadpool is for sure going to get into this game. Now, maybe it'll be as a DLC character because people will pay to play as him, but I do think he gets into the game at some point. Okay, so I've realized that I haven't left a lot of spots open for this roster because I've ended up filling a lot of slots with the most popular characters. But hey, I'm trying to be realistic here, and I do think all or most of the characters I've listed are gonna make it in. But now we have 18 slots filled, leaving only 6 more, which kind of sucks. But hey, I've got like 20 DLC slots, so I don't mind not filling up the base roster with characters I like. Alright, so like I said, I want to fill in spots with characters who are surging in popularity and maybe some silly goofy characters. So who fills in those last 6 slots? Alright, so first up is Luna Snow. Alright, I know some of you guys are going to think this is dumb or kind of ridiculous, but I don't really care. Honestly, would I have Luna on my personal dream roster of 24 Marvel characters? No, probably not. However, Luna is definitely becoming very popular right now thanks to Marvel Rivals. Not to mention, I definitely think this game will try to include some Asian representation, considering a large part of the player base will likely be Asian, because that's just kind of how it is with fighting games and Arc Sys games. Which brings me to my next 2 slots. Next up is Shang-Chi. I think Shang-Chi is a great pick for a fighting game. He's a bit more well-known nowadays considering he got his own movie, and I think since this is a fighting game, it definitely makes sense to include a guy who's supposed to be the best fighter in the Marvel Universe. Next up is Psylocke. This is a bit of a personal inclusion, but I do really want Psylocke in this game, and she's very well liked in the fighting game community, and just generally liked, because now she's in Rivals, and people just think she's cool. Now, next up, this one's definitely a personal inclusion, but I really want Cyclops. You gotta have the leader of the X-Men, or at least one of the leaders of the X-Men. He's kind of the main one along with Storm. But anyways, his popularity is also rising right now, thanks to X-Men 97 showing everyone how cool Cyclops actually is. And I would just personally really like to see Scott Summers get some more love, so there you go, he's on the list. Alright, 23rd is Nova, and this one might be kind of surprising, but my idea here is that I think Nova is a bit of an out-of-the-box pick, which is fun. However, I do think his popularity has a chance to climb in the near future, since he's going to be in that new beat-em-up Marvel game that's coming out, and I think they have some plans for him in the MCU. Alright, our last base roster pick, we need a gag character. I know Deadpool's silly goofy, but he's not really a gag. Fighting games like this like including gag characters. So screw it. We're going with Howard the Duck. Why not? He's a duck. People like him. I don't see why he shouldn't be in the game. He's cool. Okay, so next up is the DLC. Who do I want for the DLC? Well, I'm going to split up the 20 DLC characters into 4 groups or seasons. Each season will have its own theme that the characters released within it will fit under. So first up, the first season's theme would be Fantastic Four. Maybe you were watching this video and wondering where the hell the Fantastic Four were, and that's fair, I get it. Listen, I couldn't really fit them onto the base roster, but they'll be in the first DLC packs, I promise. So obviously, Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and The Thing. But I did say each DLC pack would have 5 spots. So our last spot is going to be the Silver Surfer, because I think he's cool, and I think he'd be cool in a fighting game, although I'm not totally sure how it'd work with the surfboard and all. The next season would be street-level characters. First up would be Daredevil, because you gotta get Daredevil in there. Next up, Blade. Blade is just so cool. I want Blade to be in this game. Next, Black Cat. I want to include at least one female character in every season, and some of them were easier than others. I could have maybe done like Elektra or Jessica Jones or something, but I personally like Black Cat more than both of them, so Black Cat gets to be here. Fourth, Miles Morales. Now, maybe you'll say that Miles can't be here because Peter's here, but I disagree. I think Miles can absolutely be differentiated from Peter. There's a reason Miles has different powers from Peter. And like, Miles has so many cool powers now, give him his lightning sword thing from the comics. I want Miles. Last up, my glorious king, Moon Knight. I need him in the game. I would gladly pay extra to get him as DLC. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if the entire world disagrees. I want Moon Knight. The third season would be an Avengers-themed season. First up, Black Widow. She's for sure one of the most popular characters thanks to her being a founding member of the Avengers in the MCU, so she gets a spot here. Second, for similar reasons, is Hawkeye. There are plenty of people who love Hawkeye, so why not put him in the game? Third, my glorious queen She-Hulk. You gotta love She-Hulk. If you don't like She-Hulk, I think there's actually something wrong with you. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like the TV show, but in the comics and most media, she's cool. I want her in the game. I love She-Hulk. I cannot say that enough. Fourth is Vision. This isn't a character I care the most about, but he is relatively popular, so I might as well throw him in there. Last is Ultron. And yeah, I know that he's not an Avenger. Well, actually, I mean, in the comics right now he kind of is, but typically he's a villain. But I like Ultron, and I'd like Ultron to be included in the game, so why can't we get Ultron? He's cool. Last up, the most important season, the X-Men season. Let's just move through this quickly. First up, another one of my goats, Nightcrawler. I love Nightcrawler so much. He's one of my favorite characters ever. I'm not exaggerating. So yeah, I'd want him in this game, obviously. I bet they make him super annoying too with all the teleporting and stuff. I kind of want him to be a stance character, but I'm not totally sure how that'd work. Next up, my glorious Queen Rogue. This is my goat. I think that for sure when I get married, I'll need my future wife to dress up as a rogue at least once, like full-on cosplay, the hair and everything. Okay, I got a little bit sidetracked there, but listen, I think everybody loves Rogue, and I don't see any reason not to get her on this game, whether it's base roster or DLC. Next up, my guy Gambit. You can make Gambit fun to play. It wouldn't be hard. He's Gambit. Who doesn't like Gambit? My last two spots would be Magic and Apocalypse. Magic because she's surging heavily in popularity thanks to Marvel Rivals. She's hot, has a big sword, and I think there is a very good chance she gets into this fighting game. And the last character who'd be released would be Apocalypse. I think he's a solid big villain to make the last release. He has a cool design, he has a lot of powers, so there's plenty of stuff you could do with his kit. We want Apocalypse. Alright, that's it for this pretty short video. I wanted to get something out quick, and I'm really excited for this game, so here it is. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there's any characters you want in this game that I left off the list. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Have a great day or night. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.